Maybe you can tell us kind of what were some of the factors that initially had you guys start thinking that maybe getting some like virtual executive support for your team might be the way to go?
Well, we're a really small organization. There are maybe 13 of us in administration altogether. The bulk of the staff here are clinicals. As we were growing, we were figuring out we have these tasks that I didn't have time to do, and I was delegating some of my stuff already. And everybody's plate was just kind of overfilling. It was about that time that we were introduced through Wade Rowan with Sandler, and you had come to speak to us about the virtual assistant, and we decided to, we'll give it, let's try it out. Let's see what happens. And so and we really haven't looked back. Kaylin is our virtual assistant, and she's fantastic.
Awesome. And how did you guys think about the structure? Because I know there were like a lot of different ways you could have structured it, whether it was like a direct reporting to just you or supporting your team or direct reporting to another one of your team members. What was some of like the factors or decision process that you guys considered to come up with what you ultimately decided for her role?
Essentially, with what we were going to have her focusing on, the tasks that we were having her working on, it was going to be a better fit for her to report to financial administrators or our systems financial administrator because she's kind of got her hands in IT stuff and in financial stuff. And we knew with the qualifications that Kaylin had, we would probably be pulling her into several of those things. That's how we decided to kind of structure that, and so that's who she answers to.
Were there any challenges getting started with having a virtual team member? Because before that, most of everyone was working in office in person there.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it took a little bit of getting used to because and it was I think it's probably more on our end because, this is someone that we don't see and you don't talk to every day other than, the check-ins, which can be really brief so that we know that she's clocking in and she's working on something. Unless she has a question. And to be honest, I would be like, hey, who's working on this? And Nicole, who she answers to, would be like, that would be Kaylin. And I was like, yeah. So that did take a little bit of getting used to, or, we would come across something and we're like, well, who's got time to do this? And so, and Nicole would go, Kaylin, it's been great.
So it took a little bit of a mindset shift of like thinking that, hey, you do have this other resource. You've got this other team member that's not in the office, but they can handle certain
It
tasks.
really did. It did. And I think when we had other people go kind of remotely because to work remote, even, I think it's just changing your mindset for that sort of thing because you will forget about someone you don't see every day. You're just like, oh, okay, I was supposed to send them that email or, I forgot to send them this announcement on what's going on within our administration. Yeah, the mindset is definitely it, but it didn't take too long.
Now, did you guys end up using any different tools or did you have tools already in place for helping with the delegation and assigning of the tasks to Kaylin or, other team members in your
A
organization?
great example is that we have a system, which is our filing system, our electronic filing system. And that is where obviously it's where our charting is going to go for our patients, which, there are state regulations with that. And we switched over and updated our system because we had one that was pretty outdated. And the problem was when the migration came along to get all the files from there to the new system, nothing went where it was supposed to. And it was like, it's going to take us years to get this because, I would have maybe 10 minutes a day to work on it. And, and the others that knew the system weren't in any better of a position. They had a little bit more time, but not a lot. So that was a big thing that Kayla was actually very vital in getting like all of our medical records straightened out and everything filed away properly so that it's easily accessible. Because the state here could come in at any moment and go, I want to see, I want to see your patient files, and we have to be able to just go, here you are. Yeah, she was key in that, and we actually have her working on some of our HR stuff now.
Nice. Were there any challenges with having the like remote access to the files and your internal systems for enabling her to do the work that she needed to do?
No, the system is cloud-based, so she had no problems accessing it. We just needed to give her the permissions for it. So, and to my knowledge anyway, there weren't any issues in accessing that system. So, and I think we've got her working on some other things. We just kind of keep adding some things because, straightening out files is a tedious thing to do. And we're like, she's qualified for more than this. What else can we have her doing? And, that's why we put her under Nicole to begin with, is because, she had knowledge of the financial systems and the background in and that sort of thing. And it was like, okay, well, let's have her help Nicole with some of the stuff on that end too.
Yeah. What would you say, or maybe speaking for Nicole, have you noticed any difference in her like work schedule or the areas that she's able to focus on since bringing in the executive support for her and kind of bringing her out of some of those really tedious tasks that you've been describing?
Oh, absolutely. Because maybe a year and a half after Kaylin came on board, our CFO announced she was retiring. And Nicole is also part of the succession plan to step up and take over as CFO. So her responsibilities kind of jumped. So yeah, yeah, Kaylin was able to take on a lot. That freed Nicole up to be able to step into that role pretty seamlessly. So I think the timing with that was pretty lucky because she had been with us long enough that her and Nicole were familiar with each other. So it worked out really well when that happened.
Yeah. So that's the one thing too. I guess it's been almost 2 years that Kaylin's been supporting you guys. And
Oh, I think she's been with us for 3, maybe?
wow,
Yeah.
yeah. So having that kind of long-term relationship where she's understanding Nicole's workflow and Nicole understands her workflow and that communication, I'm sure that's really helped with being able to kind of smooth handing off new responsibilities as they come along.